execute short corners. Spain's really good at it.
Yeah, they are.
And it may not result in goals, but they result in chances.
Yeah.
And the way they set them up, they know what they're doing, and they pull it off. Now, obviously, we're comparing Minnesota United to Spain.
A national team.
Made up of some of the greatest players in the world.
Yes.
But it's still, you have to think that maybe we need somebody on our training staff.
Yeah.
That has more expertise in corners.
Sure.
I mean, Adrian is obviously a forward as a career. So maybe, sometimes forwards aren't even involved in corners. So maybe that's an issue right there. But yeah, it's sad that we had to wait 20 games to see us finally execute a decent corner. And even then, it ended up being more luck than anything.
Yeah.
But
well, to go back some highlights from this game, just to kind of get through it. Ramirez had 2 goals, right?
yes,
He had 2. Ibarra Sr. had 1.
correct,
Okay. Darwin had 1.
correct,
Okay. And then, of course, you had Schuler.
right.
And who is...
That
so
was 5.
that's at 5?
Small 5.
Yep.
Okay. So, of course, Darwin scores again. And he set up at least... How many of those scores did he set up?
I think he had 2 assists on the game.
2 assists. So a goal and 2 assists for Darwin.
And, that's, honestly, though, that's not even necessarily counting key passes. I'm sure, going back through my notes, I feel like he was a key pass in every single goal we had.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. And there were even some misses that we had that, he's part of.
So we're riding. So this game, we're riding high after this game because it was a great game. Dave Stevens was there. He took Sterling's tickets.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the what happened after the match.
Yeah, okay. So, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
United
Wonderwall.
just won 5-1, and I got to hear Wonderwall exactly. You said it, queued up. So I literally didn't want to leave. Well, fortunately for me, I didn't have to because I actually ended up sticking around afterwards to watch the Unified game that Minnesota United put on, like all MLS teams. And so that was actually quite fun because a big portion of the Dark Cloud supporters were stuck around, and they move everybody, regardless of where you're sitting in the stadium, they move everybody to midfield. So it takes up 2 sections.
Okay.
And then they play on kind of a shorter field right in front of you. But I'll tell you what, those 2 sections get filled up quite well. And just to have the Dark Clouds doing their thing. I never sat in the Dark Cloud section before, but I did for this Unified match, and boy, was it fun. Just the atmosphere, pounding on the drums, waving their flags, and just showing the support for these guys was great. I don't know if you're not familiar with the Unified game or not, but it's just a unique collaboration the MLS has with Special Olympic athletes, and so it's fun if you just to watch these guys and see what they can do as Special Olympics athletes.
And they get cheered on by the Dark Clouds, of course, and of course it adds to it.
Yeah.
A couple of the Unified players got to go to the All-Star game.
That was the cool thing, and actually after watching that, and I stayed for the first half and had to leave, but after watching that, I was kind of excited to see that basically each MLS organization sends a few representatives down to Atlanta for this past week's All-Star game. So they played an All-Star Unified game. So
how long was their half?
The half, it was 2 20-minute halves.
Cool.
Yeah, and they play on they play a half field.
I would say it equates to about half the field because they kind of set up in the mid. You got in between the 2 goals and they kind of play.
Okay.
So I'd say equates to about half the field.
Okay.
And the goals are smaller.
Yeah. So good for them. They get to play in front of the Dark Clouds, which is I'm sure phenomenal for them.
Love it.
And they must love it.
It.
Yeah,
The
it's
atmosphere is so cool.
great. And it's great that United do stuff like that in the community, and especially for these players who. They're some of those players are actually pretty good. I watched some of the highlights, and they can make some plays.
Yeah, and I don't know if every single team does it. I know that the Colorado game in Colorado, the Unified team, I think, traveled with the team and played a game against the Rapids team.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really cool.
So we're going off of a high, 5-1. You get to see the unified game. They win that game. It's exciting. Wonderwall's playing. And then we get to the next week's game against, what was it?
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
At
And
Vancouver.
we went into that game going, we should beat Vancouver because we just beat the crap out of LAFC. So going to Vancouver, we should win this game handily, right?
Should, but it's away.
But it's away, and we have problems with away games. So we go into that game, and we end up losing, 4-2?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I literally, I rewatched it because I decided to drink a growler with
Yeah.
the neighbor.
That's a good idea.
You know, it was 4-2. I think it started out. It was 3-0, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
we were down
3-0.
3-0.
We brought it back.
We brought it
3-2,
back.
and
And
it just became a game.
Yeah.
Getting a little
We're excited,
and
man.
then
No.
nope, they shut that door.
Then they shut the door.
You know, and I think in terms of the goals to talk about, you know, Darwin missed a great header from Ibsen.
Yep.
Fantastic pass.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that entire build-up started with Ibsen and it was great.
Yeah.
But he, of course, was at fault for goal number 2 of Vancouver, where he backheels into the middle of the field to absolutely no one other
Nobody.
than Alphonso Davies, who
Takes it.
just signed a $13 million deal with Bayern Munich.
And that,
That's a
just to
record
go into your
transfer.
point,
Yeah.
that kid is going to be a superstar.
Oh, guaranteed.
Was he 19 or is he 18?
Yeah.
17,
19.
I thought.
Oh,
And
is
we're
he
all over the
17?
board.
I
Dave,
guess he's Canadian.
well,
I don't pay that much
Johnny,
attention to Canadians.
Johnny, how old is? Do you know about this kid?
Heard of him, don't know his age.
Because he's young. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks.
It sucks that he's Canadian, too.
Yeah, he's
It'd
Canadian.
be nice to have another American in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. But he signed a huge
Even if it is
contract.
Munich.
Even if it is not.
He signed a huge contract with Bayern Munich,
Yeah, 13 million.
and
Pretty impressive.
very impressive for an MLS player.
He is 17.
17 years
17.
old. Wow. You can't even legally buy a lottery ticket. And he's scoring goals in the NFL. And now
Can he? What's the drinking age in Germany?
18.
18, right?
Although they don't check IDs, I don't think.
Over
They don't
there,
check IDs.
Over there, you don't.
I think-
it's not like it is here.
No,
Right.
I think it's like Ireland, and I was told this before I even went there for the first time, but I saw an act. I mean, if you can see over the bar, you can have a beer. I think that's the general.
That's like Wisconsin. Then.
It's like
But it's not a
Wisconsin.
big deal though over there. It's like,
No.
oh my gosh, you're having a beer.
Right.
The world's gonna. No, they're more responsible. But you know what? You can't drive until you're 21 over there. So
Yeah.
there's that. You get your
So-
drinking out before you can drive.
So essentially, he just signed a $13 million deal. He's going to go. He can't drive for another
4 years. Yep.
He technically can't drink for another year,
Well,
but he will.
he will.
Obviously. He can't bet, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Though they have different opinions of that in Europe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He's a pretty phenomenal kid.
When I was watching that game last weekend?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this kid and I'm going, man, I have never seen a young kid like this have the skills that he has.
How old was Pulisic when he went to go?
I was going to say that's a good.
You know, I have no
question.
idea.
Yeah.
I think
He's got to be in that same range.
I think
Same
he was
range,
16,
yeah.
17, yeah.
Yeah.
I know he was at prom one day, then he had to fly over.
Yeah.
For a game.
But the
Prom
problem
than a
is
game,
he
prom.
didn't have this opportunity to have the transfer.
From MLS
Correct.
to a
Yes.
premium.
Should we talk
team
about
in
what we
Europe.
did after prom? Our senior year?
I think we could spend.
We
I
could
think we could
spend
an hour
time.
talking about
This
that.
kid gets to go play a game in Germany, right?
Yeah.
After his prom. That beats everything I did after prom. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's not-
We're
we
not
don't
going to
need go
discuss
into
my
too
Yeah,
senior
well,
prom.
I think right now.
we won't.
Maybe in a future cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Let's invite the gentleman on that we could talk about.
well,
See if
yeah,
You think Bouchard would come on?
no, yeah, we're not even going to bring up that.
No.
So, we have the big high against LAFC. We then go to Vancouver, and we have a chance. I mean, we're down 3-0.
Right.
3-0. And then we come back, and we're thinking, well, maybe we can keep this thing kind of
Yeah.
going a little bit. And then they just totally close the door on us. And once again, we're back to we can't win more than 2 games in a row.
Right.
You
And we
know?
can't win on the road at all.
And we can't win on the road.
We can't even play on the road.
We can't play the
I
road.
want to talk about that specifically. So their record on the road now is 1-9.
Yeah, it's
With,
brutal.
And the problem I have with that is it's twofold. I think obviously the lack of wins, and
No.
John, you beat me to the punch. Yeah, the no draws. They can't even manage a point on the road. Why is that? What could be the reason? Is it really the crowd? Is it the tough environments? Or?
Sterling and I have to start going to all the away games.
Yeah.
It's true because they win when we go.
Yeah.
Is it the
point.
travel? My gosh, you have to travel halfway across the country and get out of your
That- well,
routine.
I
and you're
don't
not in
know.
your comfort zone. It could be.
I
I'm
think
trying to figure out.
I think it's the crowds. I seriously think
I just
that
have
the
a hard time
crowds
believing that.
will those teams to some victories.
Well, you know, I think it was the, yeah, I think it was the Salt Lake City game,
Yeah.
maybe. Just remember having seen it passing on Twitter feed. Somebody random, I think they were from, I think, Orlando or something like that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
came up here to the game, and they were blown away by the atmosphere. And
Yeah.
they said for a college football stadium that's half full, the atmosphere was just incredible. So for me, I look at that and I say, it really could be.
Yeah.
It's just a legit home field advantage.
Well, and I think it's going to be more so when we get to Allianz next year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a huge home field advantage for us. I think that's going to be crazy the whole year.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I also,
Less fans, 2,000-3,000.
yeah.
But fans who want to be there,
You
Johnny.
are on top of it.
And it's all
You are on top of it.
enclosed for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah.
It's going to be
That
loud.
your brother, that Chris Andruski, John's brother, showed us recently this week. I mean,
Names aren't important.
I just thought I'd throw it out there since I want to credit to be due. The pictures that he showed us look just phenomenal, and you can tell just by those pictures that it's such. Yeah, there's 18,000 people less than they're going to have for. Isn't it roughly 18,000?
19.4.
Is it 19,000?
19.4.
19,400.
19,400.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you can tell from those pictures that it is just so enclosed, and
Yeah.
that's why when you talk about atmosphere, that's why it's going to be so
Yeah.
good, because those 18,000 people are right on top of it.
And we've been to games
So-
at Sporting KC.
Yes.
And that's the same deal. Like you're on. Everybody is like right there, and the atmosphere there is fantastic.
When you're in the TCF Bank Stadium and you're watching a sold-out match that has maybe 24,000 people in it like yesterday, but it doesn't feel sold out because
Yeah.
you're looking at the upper deck, you're looking at
There's-
a lot of
yeah.
empty space. But
Mhm.
next year in Allianz Field, there's going to be 19,400
Yep.
people there. It's going to feel like there's 50,000.
Mhm.
For somebody that
I'm
goes
sure.
to go for football games,
Yeah.
Dave, compare it.
Well, like I just said, even though we had 24,000 people there, it felt empty. Whereas go for football games, now I'm not going to get into them too much, but they don't always sell out their games.
No.
They get close though. Every game is mostly full.
Yeah.
And the Wisconsin games, the Iowa games, the West games, they're basically sellouts. And the
'Cause
atmosphere
they've seen
is
good teams.
crazy. The only problem is that atmosphere that you have on the opening kickoff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Gophers, it's fairly quickly in a lot of cases.
That's
So you
because
lose
all-
that home field
that's
advantage
because-
rather quickly.
That's because all young
I'll
students
say.
are already drunk. That's
all
the
I'm gonna say
problem.
about the Gophers, so, but-
They can't sustain through the whole game. That's the deal. You got to be able to sustain. So Vancouver was a huge blow to our whole kind of winning streak, and we're getting in the. I mean, before that game, I think we were we were in 8th place, or we were up in the
7th place.
7th place. Yeah,
We're above the line,
so we're above the line. Then we lose to Vancouver, we drop below the line.
right?
So then we go into this
What
game.
line are you talking about?
Well,
8th
and
place.
actually, and first, I want to point out the Vancouver game. Statistically, it was a complete bloodbath.
Really?
We had 67% possession,
Yeah,
and we had 74% passing in the attacking half, 73% passing in the final third. I would almost put money on those being the highest numbers we've had all season.
that's very likely.
And we lost.
Yeah,
So
we lost.
We
Yeah.
can move on now.
So we can move.
Oh, and Dunlawdy had his first goal of the season.
He did, yes. He came in, actually, I'll mention that quickly. He came in and added a little bit of spark at the end of that
Right.
game, and which was a good thing to see. But they couldn't, of course, they couldn't.
Especially since he'll be replacing Christian Ramirez.
Yeah, maybe.
One last. I almost went into a rant here on air about the MLS app because it's been giving us fits, and the
Yeah.
stats and info guy, I kind of rely on it.
Yeah.
To try and give us stats. Fortunately, Dave had us covered there with the stats for that game, but